Hi, it's Chef Robin. I'm gonna do another video for you. We're gonna use Plum Creek Wagyu, and tonight we are going to do Terrace Major medallions in a mushroom red wine reduction. So the Terrace Major is an amazing cut of meat. It is as tender as a filet mignon, but the flavor, because of the fat content, is a lot like a ribeye. So you get both within this cut. And the other thing is, it's actually more affordable. So it's a really nice thing to do if you're trying to figure something nice to do for the holidays, but you want to cut back a little bit on cost. It's the perfect piece to get. Okay, so I've had my Terrace Major resting for about a half an hour. That's probably the minimum that you want to let it rest. And now we're ready to season it up. Salt and pepper. So just holding up high and letting it season up, and then I will season the other side once I get it on our cast iron pan. I'm using clarified butter for the meat this evening. I like to do that because I've talked about the difference between butter and clarified butter. The smoke point for butter is 350 degrees. The smoke point for clarified butter, 485 degrees, so you won't get that burnt taste. So most cases, that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna let it get nice and hot, and then I'll add it in. All right, so I have the pan nice and hot, so I'm ready to add my pieces in. I'm actually gonna turn them seasoned side down so that I can season the other side. All right, so I'm gonna season the other side, holding up high so I get all of them seasoned nicely with salt and pepper. Because of the size of the medallions that I have, it's probably gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes for them to cook. I want medium rare, so I wanna pull them off at about 130 degrees because as they rest in the foil, they're gonna raise about 5 degrees. So it took about 2 minutes on the first side, and now I've flipped them over on the second side, and it'll be about 2 to 3 minutes on this side. Like I said, we're looking for it to be about 130 degrees, so we can let it rest to about 135. So it's been about another 2 minutes, and they are ready to rest. So I'm gonna take them off, put them in some foil, and let them rest while we make the sauce. All right, so we're ready to get started on our mushroom red wine reduction. First thing up, 2 tablespoons of butter. We're doing that same cast iron pan that we had our nice beef in. We're gonna let that melt. And then we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of mushrooms and 1 shallot that has been minced finely. A lot of the recipes that I write, you'll notice that I use shallots. The reason I use shallots is the texture on the tongue of a shallot is much easier. People that don't like onion don't seem to mind shallots. So a lot of the times I prefer to use shallots because people don't mind them as much as they do an onion. So we're gonna use shallots. All right, 3/4 of a cup of mushrooms in. And the shallots are going to go in 5 to 8 minutes for this part. We're just looking for those mushrooms to get nice and tender. So with about 1 minute left on your cooking of your mushrooms, I like to add just a bit of sugar on top of those mushrooms. What that does is it just helps to caramelize those mushrooms, adds a little extra layer of flavor. So we're ready to add the rest of our ingredients for our sauce. We have about a 1/2 tablespoon red wine vinegar. I didn't have that, so I'm doing sherry vinegar, which works just as well. I'm gonna add that in. We're gonna add about 2 cloves of garlic that we've minced, a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh rosemary, and a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, and about a 1/2 tablespoon of some flour, and just mix that through. It won't take but a minute. And then 3/4 of a cup of whatever red wine you like. A nice deep red wine is best. And 3/4 of a cup beef broth, and we're gonna let that cook down until we got about 1/2 of a cup. All right, so I want you to look at the sauce, and you can definitely tell that it's reducing, but I want you to know what to look for so that you know that your sauce is done. One thing that you want to look for is when you scrape through, it should open up. It shouldn't fill back in. What you can see, I'm getting pretty close to that. And the other thing is you can dip your spoon in and it becomes nice and thick and holds. So you can see that we are very close to that happening. And look, as we're videoing this, it's coming together. So pretty soon I'll be able to pull this through, in fact now, and it doesn't fill in right away. That's what you want. And I'm gonna dip my spoon through and look how thick that is. That's exactly what you wanna see on your red wine reduction. There you go, you got it. Hope you guys will try this recipe. Go to the bottom of the page if you want a little bit of a discount. Put Chef Robin, you get a little discount on your orders from Plum Creek. Cheers, Merry Christmas, love you guys. Can't wait to do another one for you. I will do another one before New Year's. Love you guys, cheers.